Right. Okay. But also it's a breath that seems very complicated in the start, but actually it takes a lot of your focus. So it's very kind of, when you come out of it, you sit quietly and just feel the sensations. But it might take a little while before you practice. So that essentially it's you only pay attention to the exhale, and that causes a vacuum, so the inhale takes care of itself. So in yoga, the exhale is when your tummy button goes in and you breathe out. So and then you'll feel like the inhale comes all the way in deep to the bottom of the lungs, so you'll feel your tummy swelling out again. So sometimes it helps to have your hands on your stomach, so you're not pushing, but it's just reminding you which way round the breath is, or what you're meant to be doing, because it's not actually just the stomach you're pumping, it's right up under your ribs. So it's the diaphragm. So when you feel like a burning sensation here, that's when you're doing it correctly. It's almost like when I did my 200-hour teacher training, which is like the first stage. Before we could pass, we actually had to, there's this breath, Kapala Bhati, and there's another one, which I can't remember what it's called. But when you finish it, you literally hollow out. I'm not going to show you, but we had to pull our tops up and show our rib cage, and you have to like draw all your insides up under your ribs, and like, you know, when you're pretending to be like just as thin as you can. And it's that sensation. I'm not saying that's this breath, but it's almost like that feeling when you blow out, so that you feel you're really tight in the diaphragm and literally right under the ribs. So if you're just thinking it's just your tummy moving in and out, you're not connecting to your lungs. So that's why we practice a little and just see how you feel. But it's so normally I'll say we'll inhale, exhale completely, and then you inhale halfway. And then in a traditional setting, we would do 30 pumps times 3 rounds. So you'll then, so I'll inhale, exhale, halfway, and then we would do 30, and then as you then relax off, the inhale comes in, you'll exhale halfway, you do another 30. So we're just going to do 10, and then we take the inhale, the exhale halfway, we do another 10, and do that 3 times. So to practice, if you just want to a little before we start, is to practice. And sometimes you need a tissue, like, because you feel it's quite a forceful blow out through your nose. So if you just think about just once, you'll think about the exhale. So you'll inhale, exhale, halfway, and blow out hard through your nose. And then you'll feel like the inhale is going to come in, but you need to feel like you're getting the air out. It's not just like you're sniffing. So practice that a couple of times just to feel. So as you blow out, it's like feel you're drawing in the diaphragm. Okay, and it's a strength thing. So if the diaphragm will get tired and you'll feel this burning, if you're and it might be a bit like, say you play tennis or you ski or something, that when you get you hit the ball really cleanly, or you get a good turn in, you're like, oh, that was it, and then it goes wrong for the next 10 something. So it's like just to build that knowledge, and you'll think, oh no, I know what she means, I can feel. So practice. Anyway, enough rambling. So don't even worry about the inhale, because if you got it right, the air will be drawn into the vacuum. But if you got it wrong, you'll start to run out of breath, and you'll like, so just start again. No judgment. This is a practice. Okay, so sitting nice and tall, firstly, a few normal breaths just to ground yourself, bring yourself into this moment. Take a deep inhale and a deep exhale. And then just a few breaths where you're starting to lengthen the exhale. And bringing your attention inwards. Okay, and then we're going to start with the Kapala Bhati. So you're going to inhale, exhale, halfway in, and then 10 pumps. Inhale, exhale, halfway, 10 pumps. Inhale, exhale, halfway. And you can go as fast as you like or as slow as you like. And then rest your hands in your lap. Keep your eyes closed. Let the breath return to normal. Bring your attention to your skull, that sensation inside your head. And then exhale, lowering your head, opening your eyes and looking forward. And then we're going to practice a little bit to, this is a little move that's to help you release the vagus nerve, which helps the body to relax if you can tap into this parasympathetic nervous system. So we're going to sit nice and tall, but relax your shoulders. And then you're going to turn to look to the right as far as you can. And just notice how far you can go. And then turn your head back to center. And then keeping your head facing forward, you're going to turn your eyeballs to look as far as you can to the right, up to the right-hand corner. And see if you can feel almost a yawn coming or a sigh. Doesn't have to happen. But then bring your eyeballs back to center. Now turn your head the same direction and see if you can turn any further. And come back to center. Other side, turning to your left. Noticing how far you can go. Inhale, or rather, just turn your head back to center. And then just the eyeballs are going to go all the way up to the left-hand corner. And then bring the gaze forward. And then turn your head and see if it'll go any further. And come back to center. Did anyone feel it? It's like for me, some people I can see they just do a big yawn, but for me, I feel like this like big, like my chest wants that sort of feeling. So that is triggering the rest and digest. If you're feeling really stressed, you can just practice that. Sometimes people do it with their arms lifted. I'm not quite sure why. I think just because it actually helps to press the shoulder blades if your arms come up. Draw the shoulder blades down, but it's a little exercise you can try at home just if you're feeling a bit rushed and flustered to help, and also because it releases the neck muscles. Okay, draw your chin down, keep the shoulders soft, and then just little semicircles swinging one ear to the opposite shoulder and then back the other way. So don't drop the head back, just feeling into the movements of the neck. You keep going. And then back to center, lift your head, take your arms wide and reach out through your fingertips so you can feel like you're squeezing the whole way up the arm. The muscles are toned, the underarm. Get in front. As you're reaching out, you're then going to do little circles backwards. So not huge, just little circles, but really keeping those muscles toned and feel like you're using your core. Draw up through the pelvic floor, navel draws to spine, especially little heat coming in the tops of the shoulders and then back the other way. Okay, and then just bring your hands to your lower back, fingertips facing down towards your bottom. Draw your elbows towards each other and just lift your chest. So arching your back, just feel you, maybe you've been hunched over today a little. And then exhale, release, come off your block. Seated twist, so bring the left heel to the outside of your bottom. So keep both cheeks on the mat. Draw the opposite foot to the shin. If you can, you're going to bring that right foot all the way over. If you're really twisted and the bottom's up, then just bring the foot back there. But otherwise, trying to settle the hips down. Hug yourself. So lift yourself up and draw yourself towards your thigh. And then the left arm is going to hook the thigh, right hand behind you, and keep hugging the knee in. What are you two looking at? Oh, you just done the, never mind, to change side. Yeah, just seeing you're in the, so feeling shoulders away from ears, just feeling a stretch through the outside of the right buttock, revolving from the navel, and then inhale, turn back to center, unravel, other side. Hug yourself in. So when we do a twist, we don't want to twist while we're slumped. So get nice and tall, hug yourself in, and then it's the right arm around the left knee, left hand behind you, exhale and revolve, look behind you, shoulders away from ears. And then inhale, come back to center, and then come into Sphinx. So you're lying down on your front, resting on your forearms. So elbows under your shoulders, press down through your forearms and using your legs. So press down through the tops of the feet so the kneecaps lift. Press your pubic bone down and then draw the energy of the elbows towards your hips, draw the chest forward. So getting long in the front body, engaging the back body. And then exhale, set up for locust. Hands by your side, palms facing up, gazes down. Bring the inside edge of your feet together. And then inhale, lift legs and arms. But feel almost like you're internally rotating the thighs. So you're rolling them under you. So you're spreading the back, the pelvis. And then exhale, press your palms down, tuck your toes under, come up onto your hands and knees. Little bird dog. So you're in tabletop, shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. Reach the right arm forward, palm in. Left heel back, so flex the left foot and that internal rotation of the thigh. So toes and knees point down. And the gaze goes down. So the neck is long, so back of the head in line with the spine. This is your core, draw your navel in, squeeze the pelvic floor, and then exhale, tabletop, change sides, right heel back, left arm forward, but press the floor away with the right palm. Think of the integrity of the other bits of the body that I'm not mentioning. And exhale, tabletop, Again, change size. This time as we reach, we're taking a breath, and then you're going to curl the right elbow to left knee. Curl it in, round through the upper back, and then extend. And you're going to do that 2 more times, curling in and extend. Last one, extend, and then back to tabletop, and then you can do the other side. So left arm forward, right heel back. Take a breath, and then curl in. Exhale, reach. Inhale, curl it in. And then one more, reach, curl it in. And then come back to tabletop. We're going to come to lie on your right side, and you can have your block or your towel roll to rest your head on. So we're going to do clams. So for the outer hips, building strength. So you can rest your head and then draw your knees up slightly, stack your ankles, and then keep your ankles together, touching the mat. And then you're going to lift the top thigh and then down again. But squeeze the glute as you lift. So we're building strength in the outer hip, the glute medius. And just keep going with your breath. Okay, and then come to sit, turn onto the other side. So lying on your left side, clams. So drawing that top thigh up, keeping the feet together. Okay, and then rolling onto your front, move the block away, come up into down dog. And then walk your hands back towards your feet, slowly come to stand. And then walk to the front of the mat. Standing in mountain. So feeling that connection to the earth. Lift your kneecaps, feel the energy drawing all the way up. Remembering your bandhas, your locks, draw up the pelvic floor. Draw the navel towards your spine. Inhale for a half salutes, palms to touch. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up. And exhale to mountain. And then Sun Salute A. So we're going to do 2 rounds of Surya Namaskar A, Sun Salute A. So standing in mountain, feet hip distance apart. Feel the energy reaching out through the crown of your head. Engage your bandhas. Inhale, palms to touch, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. And then exhale to Chaturanga, low press up. So palms down, step back to high plank. Drop knees if you need to, bending your elbows lower to the mat. Hands beside ribs, inhale to cobra. So tops of the feet press down, pubic bone Hug those elbows in, draw them down to your waist. Exhale, tuck your toes, lift your hips into down dog. Take 3 breaths here. So it's getting length in the spine rather than getting your heels down. So feel as if you can draw your tailbone up to the ceiling and bend your knees if you need to. And then inhale up on your toes, bend your knees deeply, look forward, and then come forward to halfway lift. Flat back, look up, exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up, palms to touch, and then exhale, hands to heart, standing mountain. One more. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, hands up. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, halfway lift. Exhale, Chaturanga, low press up. Inhale, Cobra. Exhale, Down Dog. Take 3 breaths. And then inhale up on your toes, bend your knees, look forward. Come forward to halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Uttanasana, fold. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, hands up, palms to touch. Exhale to mountain Tadasana. And then we're just going to go over the low press up. So for people who haven't done Chaturanga, so Chaturanga is the name of it. So it's actually a pose before you hit the mat. So when we're in, we step back from, so we're in half lift here. So that's the tailbone goes up, you're looking up, draw your shoulder blades down your back. And the actual pose is, you can come onto fingertips here, but we come up higher because it helps with tight hamstrings. So hands into shins, but it's having a flat back. So shoulder blades draw down and feeling the back of the leg. So this is for your hamstrings, your calves. Then you'll bend your knees, bring your palms down, walk your feet back. And in some yoga classes, that's a jump, but we're not doing that. And then you rock forward to high plank. So you want to push the floor away, feel that spread of the shoulder blades. This is where you can drop your knees, but don't do that. You want to drop your knees where they fall. So your hips and shoulders are in a plumb line with your knees and not this. So you draw in through your core and then roll the eye of the elbow. So they're slightly pointing towards the opposite corner. So rather than this, we slightly turn the eye of the elbow so that then we can bend our elbows beside our rib cage and then lower. So you see how I tilt forward. This is actually Chaturanga. So for when I step back, I come to high plank. If you're keeping your knees off the ground, I tip forward, Chaturanga, and then the actual thing next is up dog, but we're doing Cobra, which is a modification because that's quite tough. So you'll come forward, tip forward and down, and then lower to the mat. So now your hands are beside your ribs, tops of the feet pressed down, pubic bone, hug in. And then we don't need to come into Cobra with straight arms. We want to keep them bent, but you push down with your hand and slightly forward. You'll feel you're using your triceps. So what tends to happen is people will come to high plank and then do that. So we're trying not to do the banana-y thing because look at my shoulders. Also, it's not good for your lower back. So that's why we try and, if you feel you're not strong enough yet in your shoulders, then you drop your knees so that you're not going to hurt your shoulders. So you'll rock forward, drop your knees behind your hips, hug the elbows in, lower to the mat. Inhale, and then down dog. Okay, that's a little demo, just so you know. It's a difficult one, but just so you know, we're trying not to just drop to the mat. it's a toning pose for the entire body. So it's a like a little mini press up. Okay, from the front of the mat, take your feet wide, toes out, and then we're going to squat down. So you want to take your knees, don't let them roll forward. You want to take your knees in the direction of the two middle toes. And if you can't come all the way down, you can, I'm going to lift your heels. If you actually, you can roll your mat. Yeah. You can roll your mat up a little or use your towel roll to prop your heels on, which can maybe just to halfway. So we can be like this. And you can even sit. I don't know if that's too strong as well. Or for a moment, you can just be, it's building strength, well, strength through the hips and knees. Yeah. So you still get the flexion. You're going to try and bring your hands to your heart and sit up tall. If your bottom is down, you're going to press into the inner thighs, draw your hand towards your chest. And then exhale, fingertips down. Come up, bring your feet parallel. And then we're going to come into chair pose. I'm going to turn that off. So chair pose, feet hip distance apart. Draw your arms forward and up. Sit down and then draw your knees back slightly. So as you glance down, you should be able to see your toes. Neutral spine, reach and feel your bandhas. So your pelvic floor drawing up, Mula Bandha, solar plexus lock, Uddiyana Bandha, gaze between your thumbs. And then from here, we're going to forward fold. So straighten your legs, fold forward. And then inhale, come back to chair pose. If your shoulders are tight, you can have your arms forward, but we still want to feel as if you're doing a hiya chop with the outside edge of your hand so the arms can be straight. This time we're going to squeeze the thighs, stand up and reach. Bring the palms to touch, look up. And then we're going to come into chair pose again. And exhale, fold. Elephant walks. So you're going to keep both heels on the mat, but you're going to bend one knee, straighten the other leg, and then change. Okay, then come back into chair pose, last one. Sit down. Feel as if you're hugging your ankles towards each other. And then exhale, palms down, walk back to down dog. And then you're going to drop your knees, come down to Sphinx. Inhale in Sphinx. Using the legs to get length. Draw your chin down so the neck is long. And then the next exhale, set up for locust. Palms facing up, hug, bring the inside edge of the feet together. Inhale, lift into locust. Gaze is down. And then exhale, palms down, tuck your toes under, come into down dog. And then right leg lifts, three-legged dog. So straight up and back. Don't let the leg roll out to the side. You want to internal rotation of that thigh. Draw the heel down, left heel down. And then bring the right foot between your hands. If it won't go all the way, take the back of the calf and help bring that foot forward. And runner's lunge, we're not sinking on the front thigh. You want to press through fingertips and puff out between the shoulders, and you're drawing in through your core, making space. Push through the back heel, reach the chest forward, and then palms down, step back to down dog. So this time we're going to practice bringing our right leg forward. So inhale, lift the right leg up, lower the left heel, and then come up on the ball of the left foot. You're going to swing the right leg forward, but you want to draw the knee up and bring that foot forward. So this is your hip flexor strength. Runner's lunge again, and then low lunge. Drop the back knee behind the hip, flatten the foot, bring your arms up. So sink your hips. We're feeling into the front of the left hip. Reach up, lift your chest, shoulders soft, so around the sides of the neck. Turn your gaze up. And then exhale, palms down, tuck the left toes under, come up into runner's lunge, and then bring your hands to your heart. So you're leaning forward, hands to your heart, and then come up into high lunge. It's a tough one, that one, but so you're trying to be heel pointing almost up to the ceiling on the back foot. Internal rotation of the thighs, so the hips are level to the front of the mat. And lean forward. This is your hamstrings and your glutes on that front leg. And then we're going to twist to the right. Inhale, come back to center. And then drop the left heel down. We're coming into warrior two. So come onto your central line of the mat. Right toes point forward. Bend through the right knee. Draw in through your core. Take your arms wide. And just make sure you can see your big toe on the inside of that right knee. Then inhale, triangle, Trikonasana, straighten the front leg, reach through fingertips, take the left hip back slightly so you feel the lengthening of the inner thigh on the front leg, and reach, 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 and then tip. So squeeze your kneecaps, turn your gaze up, shoulders away from ears. Then inhale, coming back up, exhale, hands to hips. Move the right foot across slightly, come into high lunge so that you're on the ball of the back foot. Bring your arms up. You're right back there. And then step forward, chair pose. Exhale, forward fold. And now you're going to take the, nope, done that side. Right foot back, runner's lunge. Then palms down, step back to down dog. Inhale, three-legged dog, left leg lifts. And then roll up onto the ball of the right foot, draw your navel in, bring knee to nose, and then place the foot between your hands. Runner's lunge. So rather than us doing this thing when we're trying to bring our feet forward, we're trying to practice using our core, which is part of your hip flexor, or is your hip flexor. So when you come forward, you've got the strength to place the foot. So we're in runner's lunge, and then we're going to come up into high lunge. So bring your hands to your heart first, lean forward, and then you're going to come up into high lunge, bring the arms up, sink the hips. And then exhale, runner's lunge. Drop the right knee down, low lunge. Arms up, sinking the hips. So feeling into that front of the right hip, lengthening. Reach up, turn your gaze up. Exhale, hands to heart. We forgot the twist in high lunge, so I'm going to do it now. Twist. Inhale, come back to center, tuck the right toes under, Come up into high lunge. And now we're going to drop into warrior two. So right heel drops. Left foot forward, sink through the left knee stacks over right ankle, arms go wide. Turn your gaze over the front hand. And like we were right at the beginning, you want to reach for your fingertips, squeeze the triceps, soft through the tops of the shoulders. And then inhale, straighten the front leg, triangle pose, Trikonasana. Draw up through the kneecaps, take the right hip back slightly and pause, and then reach as far as you can, and then tip, windmill the arms up, and lean back. And then exhale, bring your hands to your heart, bring the left foot over to the left, come into high lunge, so roll onto the ball of the back foot. We're going to lean forward. So make sure the joints are stacked. Push through that back heel. And then you're going to step forward, come into chair pose. Exhale, fold. And then we're going to step back, come into child's pose. So knees wide, toes touching, forehead, tip of the nose down, rest your elbows. Okay, then you're going to come into Sphinx. So inhale, draw the chest forward. Exhale, set up for locust. Inhale, lift into locust. Exhale, palms beside ribs, tuck your toes, come up into down dog. Inhale, right leg lifts, three-legged dog. Then come onto the ball of the left foot, bring the right foot between your hands for runner's lunge. Then drop the left knee down, low lunge, bring the arms up, sink the hips, turn your gaze up. Exhale, hands to heart, lean forward and twist. Inhale, come back to center. Tuck the left toes under. You can use your hands if you need to press yourself up, but come up into high lunge. Lean forward. And then inhale, lift your chest, come into warrior two. So drop the left heel down, right foot forward. Arms go wide. Turn your gaze over the front hand. Inhale, triangle pose. Straighten the front leg. Reach, 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 and tip. Then inhale, come back up. Hands to heart. Bring your foot over, right foot over to the right. Come into high lunge. And then step the left foot forward, chair pose. Exhale, forward fold. And then step back to down dog. Drop your knees, come into Sphinx. Exhale, set up for locust. Inhale, locust. Exhale, palms down, tuck your toes, come into down dog. Inhale, left foot raised, a three-legged dog, and then bring the left foot between your hands. Runner's lunge. We're nearly done, well done. Drop the right knee down, flatten the foot, come up into low lunge, sink the hips, turn your gaze up. Exhale, hands to heart. Lean forward and twist. Inhale, come back to center, hands to heart, tuck the right toes under, come up into high lunge. Lean forward, and then lifting up your chest, come into warrior two. Straighten the front leg. Exhale, Trikonasana, triangle. Inhale, coming up, hands to heart. What's next? Oh yeah, sorry. High lunge. And then step the right foot forward, come into chair pose. And either just come to sit, or if you can do a squat sit, you take your feet apart, hands to heart, lower yourself down, plop, sit down. But if you need to use your hands, use your hands. Then we're going to lie back, knock your knees together, take your feet apart, bring one hand to your heart, one hand to your stomach. Okay, then taking your arms wide, shoulder height with the palms down. Or if you're close to somebody, you can go in cactus, but take your feet to the outer edges of the mat with your knees bent. And then you're going to do windshield wipers. So roll the knees into your left, over to the left, and turn your head the opposite direction, trying to ground the shoulders. And then inhale, come back to center. And exhale, change to the other side. So following your own breath. And then come back to center, thread the needle. So bring the right knee, the right ankle across the left knee. Draw that thigh to the left thigh towards you. So flex the right foot. So you can feel like you're pressing the ankle of the right foot into the top of the thigh. Stretching out the right hip. And then change to the other side. Okay, then keeping the knees bent, we're going to come into bridge. So bring your feet flat on the floor. Have your heels roughly under your knees, but just normally we'd keep the thighs and the feet parallel. But if your knees don't like that, you can take your feet a little bit wider, and you can also take your feet a bit further away from your hips. So just feeling into that yourself. And then inhale, draw the lower back down to the mat to engage those core muscles, hands pressing down beside you so the shoulder blades connect to the mat. And then inhale, lift your hips up. Using the arms, feel the toning of the buttocks. Dig your heels in a little, that's your hamstrings. And then exhale, lowering down. Hips come down last. And then again, inhale, lifting up. And if it feels good, you can clasp your hands underneath with straight arms. And so rolling a little side to side to get onto the outside edge of the upper arm so you can lift your chest. And pushing your fists down towards your feet. And then exhaling, remove your hands, lowering down through the vertebrae. And then we're going to do our glute strengthening. So we're not going to use the block this time, but same thing, you're going to come into bridge. So inhale, draw in through the core, lift your hips. And then you're going to take the weight into the left foot and straighten the right leg. So point the toe, but keep the thighs parallel and trying to keep your hips level. So pressing down through the sole of that left foot. And then exhale, lower the foot down, lower down through the vertebrae, hips down last. And then the other side, when you're ready, inhale, lift into bridge. And then point the other leg. Don't clench your jaw, relax your shoulders, use your breath, and exhale, foot down, and then lower the hips down. Hug your knees in, a little rock and roll. And then knees bent, drop your feet to the mat. And then you're going to lift. Keep your head and shoulders on the mat for the moment. Lift the right leg up. Bring your hands, clasp your hands behind the right thigh. And then push through the heel like you're stamping on the ceiling. Inhale, draw your navel in. Lift your head and shoulders, little crunch towards the thigh. Slide your hands up to your calf. Push the heel away. So drawing the leg towards you, hamstrings. And then exhale, slide your hands down. Lower head and chest, foot down. And then lift left leg up. Hands behind the thigh. Inhale, crunch up. Slide your hands up to the calf, but pushing through the heel, get long in the back of the leg. And then exhale, lowering down. And then coming into butterfly, lying down butterfly. So soles of the feet press together, let the knees roll out. You can draw your tailbone under slightly towards your heels. So you're not overarching, and even a little weight on the top of the thighs. Bring your hands there, just gently pressing down. And then hands to the outside of your thighs, draw your thighs together. And you can put your warm things on if you want to put your socks or a jumper on. We're just going to do a couple more restorative poses. So you'll need your towel roll. Does anyone not have a towel? Do you want to borrow it? Here you go. So actually I'll show you. So we're going to lie this between the shoulder blades. So down your mat and then have your block at the top for your head. So lying back, so your bottom is off the towel roll, but your shoulder blades at each side. So it's going up, running up your spine, and rest your head on your block. Let the elbows drop, and you can bring your feet into butterfly. You can have straight legs. You can knock your knees together, whichever, but just lifting, feeling that chest lift up. You can stay in this pose if you're comfortable, or you can come into Shavasana, corpse pose, so lying flat on the mat. Up to you. So just for the last few minutes,